clip, and then we're going to talk about what the strategy was likely. We don't know because we're not a fly on the wall inside of a Trump campaign world. But I want to talk about what the hell was the point of this rally when he's going to lose New York in grand fashion. He didn't try to broaden the base. He did not try to widen the net of voters for his campaign. All he did was appeal to the worst of the worst among us. Watch Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on with Morning Joe talking about this very thing.
Last night, right here in New York City, your hometown, Donald Trump held a packed rally at Madison Square Garden, and a number of speakers used downright racist and offensive language, no more so than the so-called comedian who said that Puerto Rico was an island of garbage. Can you just give us your reaction to what you heard last night, just hours and hours of frankly, hate, and what, frankly, how it could electrify this electorate?
Well, there's a couple of things. As you mentioned, this was a hate rally. Mm-hmm. This was not just a presidential rally. This was also not just a campaign rally. I think it's very important for people to understand that these are mini January 6 rallies. These are mini Stop the Steal rallies. These are rallies to prime an electorate into rejecting the results of an election if it doesn't go the way that they want. Because Donald Trump and that entire cadre of people up on that stage, Stephen Miller, et cetera, do not respect the law of the United States of America. And they either want to win this election or they are using rhetoric of taking it by force. Mm-hmm. That is what they mean, and that's what they're doing when they are inciting violence and hatred against Latinos, against Black Americans, against Americans who don't have children, you have J.D. Vance literally talking about watering down people's right to vote, depending on if they can viably carry a child or not. We have to understand how unhinged this campaign has gotten, and the only reason that the rhetoric has gotten this far is precisely because they are trying to prime the kind of froth that led up to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Mm-hmm. And so it's very important that we connect those dots. And right now the campaign is scrambling and they're trying to blame this rhetoric on a so-called comedian. This is not a comedian. This is the Trump campaign. They invited this rhetoric on their stage for a reason. It was a chorus of speakers on that campaign for a reason. It was vetted, and they knew exactly who was going to say what before they went on. And so the only backtracking that they're doing right now is just because tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans happen to live in Philadelphia, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, and also the several swing seats in the House of Representatives that run through the state of New York. And they're just realizing that they might have made a big error by saying out loud what they're thinking.
She's right. If Donald Trump was trying to broaden the voter base, it would have been about policy. It would have been about how he plans to make the lives of Americans better. Instead, it was about bigotry and isolation and fear, and to be able to point to, once the election does actually come, be able to point to, look, we filled Madison Square Garden. There's no way we could have lost. This is the MO. This is the strategy as far as I'm concerned. It's what I've been talking about for months now. That is, he's already saying it's going to be rigged, just like he did in 2020. Hell, he said it was rigged in 2016 and he won. What he's trying to do is set up, as she articulately said, these are mini January 6 rallies. These are mini Stop the Steal rallies. These are rallies to prime an electorate into rejecting the results of an election. She said if, but when it doesn't go their way. That's what this is about. It's to give Donald Trump the justification for, look, all these rallies. That's why he lies about 25,000 people were circling the McDonald's when I was working there. What? And by the way, he amended it to 29,000 at a subsequent event. This is why he says 100,000 people showed up for him in New Jersey and wherever he was. That's why every crowd size is doubled or tripled or quadrupled, whatever the actual number was, because he wants to be able to justify the violence that's going to come at his behest, at his incitement, at his direction, that he will try to foment violence following the election.